had you two worked together before this film?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So spoiler alert, we're married.
Legally.
Yeah. But we like to keep ample distance in an interview because we don't want to excite ourselves or the people.
Or the
Or the interviewer, most importantly. We met, at the Canadian Film Centre. And we were both in the screenwriting stream, and we became friends first. We had an hour commute. We just sort of like became buds first, which we never call each other buds. That's your thing that we don't do. But and we shared a certain sensibility of stories, but we had very different ways of working together. And then one of the sort of exercises was working on a short film together that a director wanted. We didn't see ourselves as directors at that particular moment, and we just wrote a short film together, co-wrote it. I liked it, you loved it.
Well, my work got so much better when she rewrote it. So I was like, this is a great team. Yeah. So it worked.
So what was it gradual, or was there a certain experience for both of you, either individually or collectively, that made you think, wait, I want to get behind the camera and birth the baby myself?
Yes. There was you go ahead. You love this question.
Why don't I say it on? Okay. Yeah. The nice version of it is
the diplomatic version.
Diplomatic version is that project that we wrote, it didn't turn out very well, and part of it just wasn't shot.
If you want something done right.
Yeah. So it essentially turned into that. What if we give it a try? If we just shoot the whole thing, all of the scenes in the script, it will be a little bit more complete than that other one. And so we decided to do that and gave it a whirl and enjoyed working together. Like, you know, you would think that it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work if we were the same person, basically. And so, but yeah, it worked, and we figured it out, and then we've just been trying to figure out how to be better and more professional as we go along with it, because we're learning on the go, right?
That's amazing. Y'all are so good at hiding your marriage to us. I didn't know y'all were married. But you're the second husband and wife team I've interviewed today. And which I think is so cool. Yeah. Because I'm just so curious. How do you separate the romantic and the professional?
We don't.
Yeah, how do you, or at least navigate that?
Yeah.
Totally. You know, I think that's one of these things that you can't, like, sometimes we get the question is, how do you find that perfect collaborator? How do you find this? And it's like, the reality is I didn't seek it out. It just happens. And I think that's first and foremost how it works, is like, it just sort of, the alchemy just happened. It came into our lives. We saw a great opportunity. What the opportunity? Our marriage. Each other. And then we saw that, hey, like, I think we can wear these hats. And so you have to want to do it, first of all, and how to separate it. I think it will be an ongoing struggle for our entire lives. I mean, Dane has a line that he said time and time again that I think is so, bang on, but we share our lows and we share our highs together. And of course, everything in between. And that's all consuming. And so because we've sort of taken this contract on together as being creators and partners in life, you just have to accept that it's sometimes one big blur.
But the hopeful answer is communication.
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah.
I get why this works. You guys are very good at this.
He's the posy. I'm the medium posy. Yeah.
So now I feel comfortable asking, what was the genesis of SUZE, of this project?
This is it's a great question, and it's funny because we ramble at this part every time, because it wasn't one of these ideas that just came like, oh, we know exactly what it is. It started with a feeling that we wanted to tell a story between these two unlikely people, right? These sort of sad people, but the movie was going to be hopeful. And the thing that really inspired us was we also wanted to pay tribute to the people that pull us out of the darkness, and like help us get out of these really tough times. So it was like this feeling of like, that was this nugget that we were chasing after. And in terms of like when we found the structure of SUZE and Gage, that kind of came at a different phase. I mean, we always knew that we wanted to center it around this 50-year-old woman who was obsessed with her daughter, and she was going through menopause. And your mom, exactly, and then how Gage came into it was just, I think, I don't know, it just entered our head one day that, what if this person that's sort of been interfering with the monopoly that she wants on her daughter is this boyfriend she can't stand. And then it just kind of came alive in our head, and we're like, okay, that feels good. This 50-year-old woman and this 18-year-old boy, teen, that, are just so not who you think would help each other get to a better place, and yet they do, and this beautiful sort of bond is formed. And that was the sweet spot for the kind of stories we like to tell.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I want to give everyone their chance to speak. I think it's so important, and sadly it's so revolutionary, to really examine the inner life of a woman over 35 in filmmaking, especially Western filmmaking, as well as give her leading man, as well as make her leading man significantly younger to her. It's something I loved about SUZE. Was that I know we're all 25 here, but is that something you can talk to about, again, especially as a female co-director, about just expanding the breadth of feminine stories we have on screen?
For sure. Well, I mean, this one soundbite that I say maybe ad nauseum is, I was listening to a podcast and Nick Hornby said, if you want a great actor, write a great role for a woman over 50, because there are, a plethora of outstanding talent out there. But it still is that thing where it can taper off, or there's a moment where suddenly you hit a wall. And I think it's what we think that wall is, and then beyond is where it gets really interesting. And there's so much stuff and space and time and so many different coming of age moments that go so beyond north of 35. But I mean, I'll turn it over to Dane to, why were you interested in this woman?
I just felt for her.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, I like the coming of age is a nice word. You usually just think it's about teenagers, right? And you're like, but no, it's every time you're kind of go through a different stage in your life. We were interested in this one of a woman coming to a point where she can't have kids anymore while she's losing her only child off to university, and then gaining the one that she doesn't want. And we just like that dynamic of her going through this, of trying to figure out what she wants at this time, that her life is changing, her body is changing, everything about her is changing. And the last thing she expected to be a good part of this is this kid.
That's something so beautiful and profound, that coming of age isn't limited to the years of 10 to 20. And that I think especially for women, and especially for mothers, like, you have to completely, I think there's this idea of like surrendering yourself to the child, and then what happens when your job's done.
Absolutely.
So I thought, it's just so, you guys articulated it so beautifully. So thank you for sharing that. Tell me what it was like working. I know Michaela's work and Charlie's. I mean, I've only seen Charlie in Totally Killer, but he stole the scene. So what was it like on set? Again, because you're doing this kind of sadly very uncommon dynamic. So was that difficult to navigate on set, or was everyone just amazing?
Short answer, amazing.
We got very lucky that Michaela's a lovely person and Charlie's a lovely person, and they were both lovely to each other. And so like they really got along, and like they were there for each other, they were championing each other, they were just like sickeningly sweet as they helped each other through the scenes. And like, their chemistry wouldn't have worked without it, I guess. I mean, I'm sure actors can fake that, but they had it on screen and off.
To where you can.
Yeah. But they were very kind to each other, and it just they just worked. So luck.
But and then also because there's a limited amount of rehearsal time before. Let's face it, most movies, because no one can afford that rehearsal time, that sort of feeling of awkwardness that is required at the beginning, I think really served us initially, because Michaela and Charlie didn't know each other at all. And in a way, Charlie was all of our kids, kid on set in a way, because he's definitely his own person. He's not this character, but there's a certain spirit about him that I think was so fun to kind of see him bring in real life, but also channel into the character, and then see Michaela witness it both as herself and the character in the movie. And yeah, I mean, we had a really great time, and I think that their chemistry just seemed to kind of intensify as the movie went on.
And neither of them auditioned, right? It's like you have to just offer it and hope for the best.
Yeah.
And so thankfully, like, they met on Zoom, and we did a tiny little rehearsal, just reading through a couple scenes. And then Michaela texted us afterwards. It was the first time they met, and she's like, "He's perfect."
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, thank God."
Which, like, is the greatest relief of all time, when you're just hoping that everyone feels happy with, like, who's going to be the person that they're doing everything across from for an entire movie. And that was really, that was a great moment.
Yeah.
Amazing. How does it feel to have your feature premiere at SBIFF?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super grateful to be here. Here it's a great festival. We've never been.
Yeah.
Excited to be here.
Yeah. Very excited to be here. And this is our American premiere. And we just want to get eyes on this film. And, we've heard that audiences are great here. And Michaela's, she's from Ojai, so she's bringing, like, she's shouting it out to the world. And we just want to get more people to see this movie. And so getting it here, the first stop, just, it's really special. And I'm told to take it in. That's what my dad said. It's like, just really enjoy the moment, Lins. Dads.
Okay, so then follow-up question, my last one for y'all. You've taken it in. It has been tooken.
Yes.
What do you hope that the audience takes away or tooks away from SUZE after they watch it at your sold-out screenings?
I hope they just feel a little bit better about life in the world. That's generic.
Yeah.
But, at the end of the day, I hope they're just touched by their relationship, that they go along for the ride, and that they're rooting for both of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, sort of to bookend the start of the interview, that, again, this is really a movie about the people that help get us out of our low points. And I hope there's some reflection in the audience of people thinking about who their SUZEs were along the way, or are, or have encountered even for that brief second. So I really,
That's a better answer. That's the right answer.
Yeah. And some laughs, is always good too.
But also, Dane, like, just the macro of having some, like, hoping, I feel like it's a rarity nowadays, especially for an indie film, not to be stereotypical, but to hope that you leave hopeful. I think that's beautiful. It might be simple, but it's beautiful.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's definitely our intention with this story, and mostly everything we do of just, how do you entertain people and bring them joy and hope? Mm-hmm. So, fingers crossed.
Fabulous. Thank you guys so much. We're so excited for your premiere.